Welcome back to BeerFormers. This is our 19th episode. We're almost 20 in.
I know, it's crazy.
Still having an awesome time. If you haven't checked out our newest thing, it's called Sips. It's the real shorts about just what's new in my collection. So just real 60 seconds about a toy I bought recently, basically. So check out Sips on the same channel.
And then whatever I'm drinking.
And whatever Noel's sipping on.
Yeah.
That's the hook there. You know, so it's kind of fun. So for this 19th episode, almost 20, like I said, so it'll be 20. Our next video after this, obviously, will be 20, if you can count. Is that we've got 185 subscribers.
186.
186 subscribers. I just missed one today.
I know.
So we're getting more and more subscribers all the time. So thank you. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on this journey. We're having a blast with all you guys.
200's the next goal, right?
Yeah.
And then tomorrow the world.
Yeah.
All right, so for this episode of BeerFormers, continuing forward with like we always do, we're going to be talking about something we haven't talked about before.
Yeah, okay. I'm excited about this.
And this is
he said he's going to take it easy on me this time.
Yeah, yeah. This is a classic toy still. We're still in Generation 1 by the most part, but Generation 1 has all the basis for everything that came after, so that's why we've been focusing mostly on that. But as we say, if you want to see something that's not Generation 1, let us know. We've alluded to these. We're going to talk about Targetmasters tonight. Okay? We've done Headmasters briefly. We've done Power Masters briefly.
And the Breast Force.
And the Breast Force, which would have been Armor Masters in my head canon. And tonight we're going to talk about Targetmasters by talking about this figure here. This is one of the Autobot Targetmasters. There were 3 initially. Okay? And then they took some existing figures, retooled them slightly to make them into Targetmasters. And this is Sureshot. Okay.
He's a little loose.
He's a little loose. I got him at a yard sale shortly after we got married.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you remember where?
I got it in Bethalto, somewhere like that. If you,
wow.
If you know the town of Bethalto nearby here. Okay?
Yeah.
So Targetmasters, what their deal was, when you see this guy here, and I'll go ahead and let Noel hold it here.
Yeah.
He's got a gun, and the gun might look a little weird. You can kind of turn it sideways a little bit. See, the gun is odd.
Big old gun.
Go ahead and take the gun out there, Noel, and show everybody what is weird about the gun. Okay.
So it's huge. It's
huge.
It's got a double barrel.
Double barrel. It's got arms and feet on it. So go ahead and transform that real quick.
See the arms and feet, everybody?
We'll put it on the screen here, too.
Okay, I'm turning this into... Well, I'm going to guess it just flips up like that. That was easy.
The Headmasters, we talked about this real quickly. Different fictions depending on where you're in Japan or America, but basically the Transformer had a partner that turned into the head of the figure.
Okay. So
Power Masters had a partner that turned into an engine of the figure. So Target Masters had a partner that turned into the gun.
Okay. It's their partner.
So their partner.
So they would say it's time to fight, and the partner would turn into a gun, and then they would hold it.
So in American fiction, this was an alien from the planet Nebulos named Spoilsport. It must have been a code name, or his parents named him weirdly. I don't know.
I like
I'm not here to judge.
I think it's a good one.
So, because the Autobot and Decepticon Headmasters had normal alien-y sounding names like Grax and things like that. But the
really?
Well, you know what I'm saying. It wasn't like this is like a euphemism. You're a Spoilsport, something, right? So but the Targetmasters all had euphemistic type names, right? So it was Sureshot and Spoilsport. But he was an alien from the planet Nebulos who volunteered himself to be bioengineered so that he could become a weapon and transform into a weapon to help out the Autobots, right? In Japan, the Targetmasters were just small robots.
So there was Nebula and Cybertron Accord.
I guess in a way, yeah. Okay.
That's my head canon.
They did. Yeah, when the Autobots first went there in the comic books, it didn't go well, so they kind of like don't come back type of thing, and then eventually they had to go back, and there was conflict there. But again, getting into the weeds, there's a lot. 40 years of history here, folks. All right, in Japan, these were the small robots from the planet Master, because they were Targetmasters, I guess, who just turned into through an accident, I believe, in the cartoon, and they had to get engineered to become weapons, right? So, this guy did not get a lot of either screen time or comic book time back in the day. He's kind of a forgotten character. But he transforms into a dune buggy. So we'll go ahead and let Noel start doing that now.
Okay, so I get to turn him into...
And I'll tell you a little more about him.
Okay.
He was the Autobot sharpshooter. He was supposedly so good he could hit almost anything he aimed at, right? So the conflict came when he got partnered with Spoilsport here, who was just as good a shot as him.
Okay.
So the Targetmaster concept was such that, the gun being a living thing could also kind of help the Autobot or Decepticon aim and shoot and that kind of stuff as well. So there was conflict between these two because he was already a sharpshooter. This guy was a sharpshooter too. So they kind of didn't get along sort of in the fiction because they were, who's the better shot type of deal. There was a little bit of angst that came out as a result of these guys being partnered up. But I'm assuming eventually they put their differences aside.
That sounds pretty typical. That's like a trope in buddy cop movies and stuff.
I'm a better shot than you. No, why am I partnered with this guy who makes me look bad? And that kind of stuff, So Sureshot and Spoilsport. Noelle's almost got it here.
I can't believe how good this is going. It's usually not this good, but
the little wing thing in the back actually will peg in. You just gotta snap it there. Yeah, and then you have to figure out to do something to do with the arms.
Yeah,
the arms are not in the right spot. Otherwise, you pretty much got it.
The arms go back like this?
They go back and then fold up.
Oh, like that?
But they go under the wings, so you'll need to probably do the wings last.
I gotcha.
Type of thing, so you can pop it back out.
All right. Yeah.
So these Generation 1 toys, the transformation schemes in some of these modern toys are way more difficult than the original Generation 1 toys. So not belittling my wife's ability here, but if I were to give her, a more modern styling of a current figure, it would take a lot more to do it. A lot of these ones you can almost transform intuitively. Sometimes these new ones now, you really need to look at the instructions over the risk of breaking something like that. So still don't quite got it there, hon.
I almost do, though.
Can we help you out?
Well...
Okay.
That goes like that,
right?
Yeah,
but so let's get these out of the way. Get this out of the way. Fold these up and back like this.
Oh.
And then bring. Oh, shoot.
Ha ha ha!
Like
You
that,
were wrong.
Like that.
Okay.
Like that.
Okay.
I knew they had to go under the
right,
spoiler.
There we go.
And you got him. That's basically it. Woo.
He's a great little dune buggy.
So again, there's not much more. There's not much more to be said about them, except for they have the partner who can transform into a gun. They were all engineered so that the partner, when transformed, could also plug in on them somewhere.
Oh yeah.
So they could be used as a gun.
Oh my gosh.
In vehicle form too.
A dune buggy with a gun.
Yeah.
That is some crazy crap.
So but he did not have a lot of appearances in the cartoon, either American or
better get out of his
Japan.
way when he's driving down the beach.
Or did he have a lot of appearances in the comic book either? But so the reason why I picked him amongst all the Targetmasters was I'm going to make a plea to Hasbro tonight.
Oh.
Okay.
Are you listening, Hasbro?
So the other two Targetmasters from the 80s when they first
open.
came out were Pinpointer and Crosshairs. Okay. And so there was the original 3 Targetmasters on the Autobot side. There were 3 Targetmasters for the Decepticon side too. Blah blah blah. They have reissued in modern styling all of them except for Sureshot.
Why?
And to make matters worse, they had recently announced that they were going to do him, and they have just dropped it off the thing. So
come on, Hasbro.
So I'm hopeful they'll change their minds and put it out sometime in 26 or late 25.
Cute. Look at him.
Yeah.
He's great.
But I've got all the other ones so far. I've got the remake of Crosshairs and Pinpointer.
Are the remakes in the same color? Did they do?
Yeah, they did. They're straight up homages to them. So if we ever do those, I'll try to highlight those a little bit.
Are they made with better materials?
Better materials, more modern
pretty loose.
articulations and stuff like that, so they can pose better. Like this, these are what we call in fan terms kind of bricky.
Yeah,
because they just kind of
Still impresses me though. Yeah. I would love to find out and learn from somebody who designed these. Like, how did you even start? Like, did you have to be a mechanical engineer to design these for Hasbro to figure out how things were going to flip? What ways?
Yeah, they've got to have some spatial awareness, which I know is something you struggle with by your own admission. Anytime you have to do a puzzle where there's you have to move something around, it's kind of not intuitive for you, which is why it's so cool that you're doing this for our show, taking something you admittedly are not great at and basically doing it in front of a camera for the world to see.
Yeah.
But so they had plans to reissue him with his partner and everything.
Okay.
And I haven't heard the full dope yet, but for some unknown reason, it seems like they've quietly said, no, we're not going to do that after all. So if you know a reason why, maybe they're having problems, and they replaced what was going to be the reissue of Sureshot with another toy that has already been put out. They're just putting it out again. It was a version of Bumblebee that turned into his original form from the cartoon. Looked like a little wing car. So they're putting that Bumblebee back out in place of this.
And when you say put it out, you mean Hasbro's putting these on toy shelves,
right?
You get it at Walmart or Target
or through their online retailer, Hasbro Pulse. Yeah. Target had a line for several years, which they finally have canceled, called Buzzworthy Bumblebee, where everything had featured Bumblebee in some way, although
he's pretty cool. There
were some that were part of the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line that weren't Bumblebee toys, but one of them was a redoing of Bumblebee, so he transformed into his original Cybertronian car form from the very first episode of Transformers cartoon. All right, so that came out 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So they're bringing that back, not in Buzzworthy Bumblebee packaging, but in the current Legacy packaging, right? And it's been announced that basically this has been scrapped in favor of that reissue of Bumblebee.
All right, well, this is I'm seconding Dave's plea to Hasbro.
So
please
all those collectors would like to have the complete set.
We need and Spoilsport.
So we need the whole set there.
Don't you understand? The collectors need to be complete.
It's all about having it all.
Yes, you're making their life so hard. Come on, Hasbro.
Now, one last thing before we get to our beer for the night. In my not so much head canon because it's not a canon issue. Just in my mind of thinking of like being a dork and thinking, how would this work? The headmaster concept seemed to be like the weakest of the three. Because the idea was two heads are better than one type of thing, right?
Yeah.
But like in both fictions for the most part, except for Japan, who the little guy was the robot, and all the American stuff, it was the alien who transformed into the head of the bigger robot, and it was like kind of done voluntarily. So it's like, why would you remove your head, replace it with some person that's not you, and sharing the body like that, right?
It seems rife for fighting and complications
in your own mind, stuff like that.
I don't think two heads are better than one. That doesn't make any sense.
But the Targetmasters, I thought, that's kind of cool because
it's a true partnership.
Yeah. This guy can aim for you if you're busy doing something else, things like that. And the Power Masters made a little more sense too, in the sense
it's like your wingman.
They like a living battery providing you with energy and stuff like that.
Too.
So of the three, I thought Headmasters was the hardest concept to get my brain around, but Targetmasters was my favorite. So.
All right. Oh, that's your favorite. Huh?
So here it is to the Targetmasters.
Is he your favorite Targetmaster?
No, I think the Targetmaster leader, which is Pinpoint. No, I'm sorry. I lost his name now. The Targetmaster leader.
I put you on the spot.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite of the Autobot Targetmaster.
Okay.
I thought the Decepticon Targetmasters were a little bit cooler overall because they turned into the futuristic jets.
Yeah, you always like the bad guys.
The bad guys just kind of look cooler sometimes. They just do. I mean, it's not that I sympathize with being a bad guy, but when you just look at the overall look, I'm like, that's pretty cool. I felt the same way about G.I. Joe and Cobra.
I know
Cobra always had the cooler looking stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's celebrate talking about Sureshot and Spoilsport.
Oh, absolutely.
What's our beer tonight?
Okay, so I am very excited about this beer that we're going to talk about because it is from probably, to me, the most interesting brewery we've ever been to yet. And it's called Scratch Brewing. So I'm going to go grab the beer and then I'm going to tell you a lot about this place.
Okay.
I'm going to love it. Okay. Here we go.
While she's grabbing that, we'll just kind of get things off here to the side and get ready, and I'll start pouring here in a second.
Okay. So
our beer tonight is Scratch. It is a Basil IPA.
Now, just let me kind of lead us into this, okay?
Go for it. I'll start pouring.
Okay. So we found out about Scratch Brewing because I have a colleague who did his graduate work down in Southern Illinois, and he found out we were camping in Southern Illinois, and he said, where are you going to go? And I told him, well, here's some breweries we got to go to, and he goes, stop. You have to go to Scratch. Get on Google right now and show me that you're looking it up because I want to make sure you're going there. So I looked it up, and I was like, okay, this sounds really cool. And he was not wrong. So I'm going to read you a little bit from their website to tell you about what it is, and then we can kind of fill you in on our experience. It is a farmhouse brewery. It's located 5 miles from the Shawnee National Forest in Ava, Illinois. So that's about 2 hours away from where we live, maybe 2.5 hours. It has been named one of the top 4 breweries for, get this, foraged beer by Outside Magazine, and one of the most beautiful places to drink beer in the world.
Does that mean what I think it means? Like they gather stuff from around and make beer with it.
So All About Beer Magazine has called it one of the most beautiful places to drink beer in the world. They focus on farmhouse beers and other styles that are brewed with homegrown and locally farmed and foraged ingredients. So yes, all of their beers are made by things they either find in the woods or get from other local farmers or grow on their property, which you go to the brewery, you're surrounded by their gardens.
I remember when we first pulled up to it, we're like, is this really the place?
Yes.
Because it looks like you're just pulling up to some person's property in the middle of the, not nowhere, it's near Murfreesboro.
Yeah.
But it's like you're off on a country road, and as you're pulling up to it, it's just like a typical kind of house in the middle of the boonies a little bit, But then you pull in, you see some signs, you're like, oh, okay. And,
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's owned by Marika Josephson and Aaron Cleedon, and if I mispronounce those names, I apologize. But get this, okay? This is, again, this little brewery tucked inside this farm in Southern Illinois. There's nothing around you, okay? But they've been nominated for 3 James Beard Awards, and that's like the top of the line when it comes to food and beverage, okay? In 2020, they got an award for Outstanding Wine, Spirits, or Beer Producer, and in 2022 and 2023, they won for Outstanding Bar.
Wow.
Okay, so they do distribute their beers to select bars and liquor stores in Illinois and in half a dozen other states. And another thing that I loved about them was that they support local artists by commissioning original artwork. They commission like ceramics and T-shirts and posters and all kinds of other.
When we
merch.
first walked in, they had this really cool kind of a drip style where like it looked like they painted and sprayed it so it would drip. It was a giant Piasaw bird.
Oh my gosh, that was so cool. We were like, we felt like we were home.
If you're not sure what the Piasaw bird is because you're watching anywhere from the Alton, St. Louis area, look it up. It's basically
part of our lore.
It's a Native American legend. Yeah. I'm using heavy air quotes here because it is, but it isn't.
Yeah,
the story everybody knows around here was made up in the
version.
1800s by some guy who wanted to make a cool story to sell some papers and something like that. But it is based off an actual legend that the natives had.
And an
back
actual
at the time.
painting that was on the cliffs.
But the modern version of it, along with the story, like if you ask someone from the area, what's the story of the Piasaw bird? What the story they're going to tell you is entirely made up. But anyway,
that was cool.
Yeah, it was really
That's
cool.
right where you go in to order the beer, right? I will say this: it's important to know it's cash only. We were not aware of that. They do have an ATM, but be prepared. And there is some seating inside, and they also have a room called the Snake Room that you can rent, but most of their seating is outside, and it's beautiful. It's
Terraced.
covered.
Yeah.
But I would say go on a mild day because if it was just borderline hot for us, but we just absolutely loved it. I can see where they say it's one of the most beautiful places to drink beer.
That'd be amazing in the fall.
I know.
The colors and the beer and stuff.
So how about that beer? Okay, I'm going to tell you just some of the names of the beers that are available right now because as they say, their selections always rotate. Okay, and all of them are enhanced by local ingredients such as nettle, elderberry, ginger, dandelion, maple sap, hickory, lavender, juniper, and chanterelle.
Chanterelle?
Yes, mushrooms. I was like, I don't think I said that right.
Chanterelle.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Glad I got my science expert over here. So, here's an example of some of the beers they have right now. Fennel Stout.
It's really good. I had it and I liked it.
Dead Leaves and Carrots.
Yes.
Which is an English style pale ale brewed with dried oak and hickory leaves from the woods and fresh carrots from their garden.
So literally, the name is literally what it was. But it was good. You're like, dead leaves. That's not going to be any good. It was really good.
Beer Balm Saison is another one that they have. It's a farmhouse ale brewed with wild herbs and lemon balm. 49, which is a farmhouse beer brewed with 49 different leaves, roots, bark, fruit, and fungi. They have a Vienna lager. That's just a German-style lager that's pretty straightforward. And they had a dry hop lemongrass.
The fig leaf and Ella Campagne.
Yeah.
Campaign, I think is how they pronounce it. Ella Campagne or Ella Campagna.
But I
don't know what that is. I didn't look that up. But
It's made with fig leaves, sweet clover, and Ella Campane, or Ella Campagne, a plant historically used for camphor-flavored candy.
Camphor-flavored candy.
They also have non-alcoholic drinks.
Will that make your mosquito bites go away?
Maybe. Okay. But I know this sounds scary, and we were a little bit like, oh my God, this is going to be bad. But we did flights, because you can do a flight of 4 beers.
I think we pretty much tried every beer they had available.
And we loved everything, but I haven't even got to the food yet.
Yeah.
They offer food on the weekends, and it sells out quickly. But they make wood-fired pizzas, okay, where all the ingredients are also from local farms, okay? They try to, and they let you bring picnics too. If they're open on Thursdays, they don't sell food, bring your own food on those days. But if you're there on days they sell food, you can bring food any day you want. We saw people bringing all kinds of food, but we ordered all the pizzas. They have basil squash pesto pizza, just your typical margarita pizza, and sliced potato, rosemary, and sausage.
That's what I had. It was amazing. And
they're hand pulled, wood fire cooked. Oh my God, they're freaking incredible. Go ahead. No.
You're gonna mention an extra charcuterie board.
Okay, and then they also offer a charcuterie board. It's called Bloomsdale Cheese and Hearth Bread. So they bake their own bread, and apparently we got the last loaf when we were there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but they serve it with Beige Farms goat cheese, which is from St. Genevieve, Missouri. It also had pickled peppers and olive oil.
Various things you could spread spread on them. Different things besides the cheese and the olive oil.
So all that was on this, and you just had a big knife, this big wad of bread, or big loaf. Yeah. Oh my God, it was just heaven. It was heavenly. I don't know how else to put it. Yeah. So anyway. They do have some beers, but they don't have cans. They don't offer growlers. but they do sell some of their products bottled. And they have a couple beers in bottles that they don't offer on draft. They do offer this beer on draft that we brought home with us. And this is, as Dave said, their Basil IPA. Right?
Yes, Basil IPA.
I'm just going to read you what's in it, and then we're going to taste it. It says it's a scratch classic. An old school IPA brewed somewhere between an English and West Coast style featuring basil instead of hops for the aroma.
So in place of the hops.
Yes,
okay.
It's bittered with Illinois-grown Mackinac hops
Okay,
and
so there are some hops
flavored
in
with a trio of sweet basil, lemon basil, and Tulsi basil from their garden.
I don't remember, did we get this that day? Cool. I don't remember this one. I thought we bought this one specifically because it was one we didn't get that day, but maybe
I think I did because I remember smelling this beer, and it smells like basil.
Yeah, it smells like
pesto.
Pesto, yeah. The odor of it is pesto, but when you drink it, it's not super bitter like IPAs are. No. I could drink this because I'm not a fan of bitter.
It's refreshing. And I wouldn't say that. Normally, I don't think IPAs are refreshing. I think of them as flavorful.
Yeah.
Like when I want to have a beer that I really want to taste, I like an IPA. But if I'm done mowing, not going to drink an IPA. I want some. But this, I would. This is refreshing.
She likes the bitter. I don't care for the bitter so much. This isn't too bad. This is actually more of the basil flavor.
Oh, that's fabulous.
With the lemon background. So it's almost like, basil and lemon together.
I think I had one of these in my flights that day. But we tried all the beers that were there. So we were a little, I was like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah. All the beers were served in little snifters, right? They didn't have different glasses of beer. So all those snifters and the flights were the kind where you pick up the board and I think we got pictures we're gonna put up here as we normally do. But yeah, you'll see it's really cool. Cool environment, sitting outside amongst nature.
Dogs are welcome outside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there were a lot of people there with children too, so it's family friendly. It's not really there are any games or anything that they have. They're not about that.
They didn't have a fire pit, but it was in the middle of the day, so they had a fire up.
But they're about sitting outside and enjoying nature while you enjoy the fruits of nature.
Yeah.
I just love the fact that they were just so creative in thinking about ways to use these natural ingredients around them in ways that you can't even imagine would turn into a delicious beer. And that's what's exciting about it. So I would say get out of your comfort zone, like me. Don't be nervous and give them all a shot. Because there was not one of those beers that we tried that I thought, oh, this is not something I can drink. I was like fabulously surprised. And I am so excited to finish this bottle because this is a fabulous beer. So this is going to be I'm so excited this beer is so good. I would say I'm going to toast Hasbro if they will bring back Sureshot.
Go ahead and do that. Yeah.
For you,
change
Hasbro,
your mind.
Bring them back.
Or at least bring it back in early 26. I know they've announced like the 2025 line, and that's one of the reasons why
it's possible.
Maybe it'll be in 26 now, but so that's awesome. Well, thanks for sharing all that information about Scratch.
I really want people to know about this place because it is really just nestled.
There were at least
nowhere.
When we were there that weekend, we visited 3 breweries in Murfreesboro. There was Big Muddy, there was Scratch, and there was the one we did last time, the Pint.
Molly's Pint.
Molly's Pint. Thank you. So and I think there's more.
Yeah.
So Murfreesboro, Illinois is a good place to go if you want to try.
Scratch the surface.
Oh, look at that! Oh. So, as we say around here, if you'd like to know any more about any other Transformer, please drop us a line. We'll be happy to consider it. About any alcohol or beer, let us know.
Yeah, any kind of spirit or anything, please put it in the comments. We want ideas, please.
Yeah.
As you can tell, we live in the middle of the United States, but we often travel to other places, and every time we travel somewhere, one of our priorities is to try the local
One of our videos coming up is going to be a bourbon place that we went to in Kentucky. So that'll be coming up soon too.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
But as we always say also, make sure you're always playing responsibly, drinking responsibly. If you want to know more about this character, I don't think Chris McFeely has a specific video about Sureshot, but I think he does have one about the Targetmasters. But you go to the basics on YouTube and look that up. Otherwise, go to tfwiki.net to learn anything about any Transformer. The Transformer Wiki is an incredible source of information. Anything else before we sign off?
No, just Scratch Brewing, delicious beer, Basil IPA, outstanding.
It's a nice day here where we live. As soon as we're done with this video, we're going to go out and finish this off on our deck.
Awesome.
So once again, thank you for coming and watching and supporting us here on BeerFormers.
More than meets their eye.
Cheers.